Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
Ian, I would say that this time is like no other for us in living memory. Wouldn't you agree?
Why would you say that?
Well, because...
Do elaborate, please.
Because they're just so peaceful.
Yeah. We have had a little rundown of three films that have been less than optimistic.
Yeah. Big romp.
Yeah, I would say that they are. It's actually a really good post-apocalyptic film. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Mini post-apocalypses.
Mm-hmm. Post-apocalypti.
Post-apocalypti.
Yeah.
Plural.
Mm-hmm. Very impactful, you may say.
But this is the first time where things start to feel like it's looking up a little bit.
Yeah. Somehow.
If only for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. And to be honest, I know if I brain through it enough, I can understand what the Thrice Upon a Time means.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean like three impacts?
No, it is the third ending in this series, of which there are still many others, but it's the third,
got mainline.
The media ending.
Interesting. That's cool.
Because you had the ending in the original show,
Of course.
and then the end of Evangelion.
The end of Evangelion,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
And now we have this third ending.
I like this film a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've only watched it.
This will be this.
I want to say I've watched it twice,
Yeah.
but I don't. I may have only watched it one time besides this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I may have watched it a grand total of 2 times, but I
Yeah.
could also be tiptoeing on 3
Mm-hmm.
watches of it. But man, this takes place what feels like directly after the third film.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it feels like.
Because it is.
Yeah. I didn't know if I was wrong, but
No.
we pick up with our team.
Loose team.
Yeah. Team being the loosest form of that
Right.
word. I love the film begins with like a recap of the trilogy
Yeah.
henceforth, and it does a really good like quick synopsis of each one of the movies, and there's a lot of
it's real fast paced.
really fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
And then this movie starts us off
With Asuka
yeah.
and the 2 children she's having to look after.
I forget that even though she may look like she's young, she is every bit of almost 20-something, 28 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining, myself being there trying to wrangle up 2 idiot kids.
Yeah. One of which who might as well be a robot.
Yeah.
The other who is completely shut down.
Who is just slouching about.
Yeah.
And as it would happen, man, I have some real strong feelings about the beginning of this film.
I have very strong feelings about one particular aspect.
Okay, what's that?
How shit the localization for it was.
What do you mean?
So, I watched this film with regular subs, like on a website that were faithfully, like well translated, like
Right.
nothing unnecessary, and it was good.
Okay.
The subs that they put over this film, like when you watch it through Amazon Prime, are fucking weird.
Really?
Yeah. They either add extra words to these lines that don't need to be there, add subtitles to things that don't need to be there. Like, it's it just irks me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just, it's all over the place for me. A couple of examples I'll cite, like, as we get to them
Okay.
throughout our description, but, oh, man. It's rough.
Okay. For me, I was too focused on, I think, what was happening in the film.
Yeah.
To get a little lost inside some of that stuff. The first sequence of events that we see is in this like small village. Well, I guess before what we should say is like
this is after the
big fight sequence we have right at the top.
Paris.
Yeah, there's a huge fight sequence that happens in Paris, and it's so cool.
It's beautiful.
It's a really good just like kickoff to this series, like we've seen so far with other iterations of these films. They start off with these like really nice action sequences, something really to get you right off the get go, something to tell you a little taste,
the hook,
the hook to get you in there. And this is no different. It's a really cool fight sequence with Mari in this kind of interesting like augmented version of Unit 8.
Because of what happened in the previous film, the arms were practically useless.
Right.
After having to forcefully eject Shinji from the Unit 13.
Yes.
So they just took them off, wrapped it up real good, and gave her these prosthetics.
Yeah. And I love how she has to drive it like it's a big rig truck.
Right, yeah.
There's a couple of scenes where she does the whole like arm over the shoulder kind of thing, looking back, and there's a little
cutting the wheel real hard.
Cutting the wheel hard left, and it's like, bruh, I just love how it makes it
What is that translating to right now? Because it looks nothing like...
Yeah, right.
Like, it looks like she's just turning and she's pulling off all these crazy shit.
Yeah, well, she's turning, and then her arms are spinning around her.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she makes a comment about how, like, I wish they wouldn't have, made these things control like this.
I want to say it's sort of like a tandem control system, because the more I think about it, she's being puppeteered through the air by the Wunder.
Yeah.
And Nagara in the helm may be assisting her in some way.
Interesting.
Thought that would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Of course, she's also controlling like all of the battleships.
Right.
That are being used as shields for this operation. Like, they literally just strapped a bunch of shields to the bottom of the boats.
Right, and just made them. Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I also really liked the sequence where she has this huge chain gun.
Mm-hmm.
She's ripping through guys with this chain gun. Super visceral and fun.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's a great sequence, and it really gets to establish what, like, I don't want to say gimmick, but like the kind of the I guess the calling card for what this film is. And it has there's like this big how would you it almost looks like a like an entry plug.
Oh yeah,
it's
the
like this
anti-L
long
system.
It's like this long tube. It has like these like glyphs in red, a pillar that like is huge. And like the whole thing is like they're trying to get this system online in a certain amount of time because of reasons or whatever. And there's also aliens that are not aliens, jeez Louise. There's angels that are attacking,
right?
And they're like, there's like this big, huge laser cannon monster that comes up, and it's crazy.
Mass-produced bastardization of mishmashed Ava parts.
Yeah, and they're like being used as like conduits or whatever.
Batteries for a positron cannon.
So needless to say, this whole sequence is happening, and of course they end up defeating the bad guy.
Yeah, by using the Eiffel Tower.
Of course,
shoving it down the barrel of the cannon.
Love it. It's a great feel.
Yeah.
A great start to a film. And they activate the system, and then like
the portion of Euro nerve that they needed to have restored is back up and running.
Right.
And now they're able to take the the spare parts for AV Unit 2.
Right.
Which seemingly resemble a certain jet alone from the original show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you didn't notice that?
Mm-mm.
If you look at...
I've also haven't seen the original show in a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. But if you look at the almost full body portions of the new Unit 2, you can see like the arms, legs, the back with those pylons. It's like just straight up a new and improved jet alone.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like this miracle thing where it's like, oh, and this ring shows up, and it's like a barrier around this certain area, and all the this is a technical term, so I'm not just making it up. Corization of the area, all the red schmuck gets knocked off, and things look pretty again, habitable,
beautiful.
And it's like, oh, so I think this is going to have something to play with this film. And then we start to get this like beautiful montage.
Yeah.
And I love the music.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music selection for this film. And specifically, I can't think of the name of it, but
it's called Unwelcome Orchestra.
That first one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that first track, there's a handful of them in this film that I love. And that was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This like beautiful, it feels a lot like the first film.
Yeah.
How there's like a couple, there's like a cool song happening, and there's like a little bit of a montage of scenes of things that, I don't want to say montage, that kind of gives it I don't want to say bad rap, but it's not really the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this, these beautiful landscape shots, and it's a whole bunch of them that are kind of happening, and
get to see how fucked up the world is.
Oh yeah, and like the team, loose term team,
right.
is like trying to get to that area, like they were talking about at the end of the third film.
Mm-hmm.
They end up making their way to this small village, and wouldn't you know it, all of our buddies are in the clear.
Our boy Toji survived. Kensuke survived.
All of them are here.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I remember the events of 2 and 3 pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I forgot about that in this new film.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember you were talking about, like, we'll get to that in the next film about, like, because I thought his friends were dead. Because I still thought about that.
Yeah.
And then after it was all said and done with, I was like, oh, actually, they're all fine. And they're all obviously, a lot older. And Toji has a child now, and of course is a functioning adult.
Got hitched with Ikari.
Exactly. And so, and it's shaping up to be for what seems to be the first time in this franchise right now, a bit optimistic and hopeful.
Shit's fucking dreamlike.
Yes.
Compared to everything
because
else,
everything looks normal.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't look red and schmucked up. The only thing that's weird is like there's a few like train cars and like
it's still a bit ramshackle.
Yeah. Electrical pillars and stuff. They're all like floating in midair, like with this
big ass pylons,
red aura around it. Like, it's still part of this
just hanging
impact thing.
Yeah.
But it really does feel like a dream almost.
Yeah.
And as you'd imagine, Shinji is a bit insufferable at the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
But then when it really, for me, it really makes sense coming right off the heels of the third film.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
he's just not feeling it. Being alive.
Yeah, because again, you think about it. I would wager that the events of the third film took place in a rather short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine it being like super long.
Yeah.
So at the start of this film, Shinji has not been out of his coma for a very long time. And
he already almost ended the world again.
not only that, as if any of you have listened to the previous episode, the only person that has been like a pretty good friend to him, he witnessed him get his head blown off,
dead,
right there next to him, and that's hard to see.
Yeah,
I would wager that even if you were like acquaintances with somebody, watching someone get their head blown off is not a sight that you want to see ever. You could probably go your whole life without seeing that and be 100% fine.
Right.
I can guarantee it. And obviously, you know, him confiding in Rey and then realizing that she's not the real Rey. She's obviously
just a blank slate.
It's like this boy went from having what he thought was something to, you know, nothing again. And then also on top of that, getting really close to ending the world again.
Yeah.
And so he obviously is in a bit of a depressive stupor.
Yeah, he's gone completely like near catatonic.
Oh yeah. He doesn't want to eat.
He
doesn't want to. Yeah. He doesn't want to though.
Spends most of his time loafing around or just sitting in a corner.
And then there's a lot of subtle storytelling. He hasn't talked about Kaoru. He hasn't talked about anything that happened. He has been silent and just been sulking around to get to this place.
Yeah.
And Asuka's just like, we're here, we're just chilling out. You know, I got my little post. We're staying here, you know. And for the first time, Shinji realizes that Asuka's wearing a DSS choker.
Yeah.
Which is that the thing that made Kaoru's head blow off.
The collar explosive.
So he just gets a glimpse at it and goes...
Immediately...
he just starts yakking.
Barfs.
I mean, he just starts...
Chunks blown.
And it's like, bruh, that guy is traumatized.
Yeah.
He won't admit it.
He can't even look at her.
Nah. He's not good. And of course, in true fashion, Asuka just ribbing him. I mean, just heckling the shit out of him.
Yeah. Maybe if you didn't loaf around like a piece of shit, you'd actually be worth something.
There's even a point in time
dumbass.
where as he's loafing around, she gets pissed off that he won't answer her, and then proceeds to take these like ration bars and starts like shoving them in his mouth. And she's like, "You're not gonna die on my watch by just, you know, getting to just not exist anymore.
You don't get to shut down and do nothing.
Exactly.
You've done it too many times already, you dumbass.
Yeah, get up and do something.
Eat before you don't get to anymore."
So he gets up and walks away and just goes to this, I mean, may I say, like this picturesque landscape. He's like on this like shoreline area, and it's like this old ruined. It's this old ruined building, and apparently it's an old nerve facility. And again, like we talked about, this is the first time, or one of the first times, where it's like, this is what the world looked like in like the first film.
Yeah.
Before all this shit happened. And then we get it kind of pauses on him for a second. Yeah. He hasn't spoken a word in this film, and we're probably a good 15 minutes in.
Yeah, he's just already isolated himself completely.
And then we get this. I liked the original Rey whenever she was really encouraging Shinji and all that kind of stuff before all the stuff that happened in the second film. But man, this new, I guess we call her Ayanami. That's
Rey number 6.
Rey, or they also call her Miss Lookalike, which is interesting. She tries to integrate herself into this village.
She has a thirst for knowledge,
right? And is you know, a lot of people are encouraging her to think for yourself, and you know, what do you know,
teacher stuff. Right. She attends the school, like the makeshift school that Kensuke is also running, in addition to be like it.
Again, this is also like it feels like a lot like a what is it called whenever you're like you're driven from your home?
Fish out of water.
No, it's like a term.
Stranger in a strange land.
No, not a phrase. Like it's like a term. It's like whenever you are, oh shit, I can't think of it.
Displaced.
Yes, yeah, you're but it's like during a war or something. You're taken from your homeland and you are
a refugee.
A refugee. This feels a lot like a refugee camp area where it's like there's a lot of like things built out of necessity.
Right.
There's a lot of train cars that are also dueling as a library, and it's like because again that's all they got, and you got to make do with what you have, and we're all in this area, and we're safe in this zone with this wonderful barrier of stuff, and so like, there is a large amount of land for them to stay on.
Yeah.
And they're making it as much of a home as they can, and it's really interesting.
Yeah,
because it still kind of feels a little post-apocalyptic, but it's like, oh, this is actually
you're
making it work. It's cool. It's a cool vibe.
Yeah, humanity.
Yeah, right. Yeah, at its finest.
Yes, the indomitable human spirit.
Yeah, at work right here. And
literally putting up barriers against the indifferent cruelty of the universe.
Yeah. There's even a point in time where we get to see these like these headless Ava units that just get like
wanderers.
Yeah, the wanderers that just are
freaky shit.
They're just meandering around this barrier and trying to get back to, I guess, Nerve HQ or whatever. So
yeah,
I can only imagine.
Freaky stuff.
So anyways, Rey is trying to integrate. She's doing a pretty good job.
Oh yeah,
she's asking
the old ladies.
She knows enough about the language to ask the right questions, and of course, people are trying to, they're telling her why we say thank you, why we say goodbye, why we say good morning.
I like how you say language like plain speak is foreign to her.
Well, I mean,
right. It basically is.
Yeah, it's like she understands how to communicate. But then whenever people like do these gestures like holding hands or saying good night, she's like, why?
What the hell is that?
Why do you say that?
Why are you doing that?
And it's like,
oh, you want to talk about the first time she sees a baby?
Oh, yeah, right. It's like, why did you shrink that human?
Right.
And it's like, no, that's
what's wrong with her?
Yeah, right. What did you do to her?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's actually how they come out like
right.
that.
It's like, oh, well, that's cute.
Right. And I mean, in her defense, she's a clone.
Yeah.
And this is the first time she's ever like, I don't know, experienced life at all.
She only knows the Ava
right.
and orders.
Exactly.
And that's it.
That's it. So anyways, I think they play it up a little bit, but I think it also helps establish us in this new area.
Yeah.
Almost like a new character in this new area, and it's really cool. And I like the sequence because it feels homey. It feels familiar.
Yeah.
And again,
just chilling out in a small town in the countryside.
And it's like for all the sadness, pain, and anguish we have seen so far,
it's a breath of fresh air.
It's really nice. And you're like, you know what? Shinji's having a real sad time, and I don't blame him.
And to be fair, since he got there, with the exception of Asuka, and even that couldn't be said because she still cares about him in her own way.
Right.
Everybody has been super nice to him.
Yes. Yes, you're so right. As opposed to the previous film where everyone comes across as really berating him. And
right. Because everyone at Ville is like, oh, this is the motherfucker that started everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get to this small town and his friends, they're just like, oh, man, it's great to see you. It's been forever.
Right. Yeah, I hope you're well.
Right. Have some food. Have some drinks.
Yeah. Relax. Take your shoes off.
Yeah. And he's just like,
This is the first time. But this is right. This is the first time where he can't accept the friendship because he feels like he's not worthy of the friendship.
Yeah, he's clammed up.
Obviously, given the second opportunity, and then nearly ending the world again because of actions that you made, it's like
final straw.
Right. He really
broken.
He really doesn't feel adequate for the kindness and the generosity that everyone's giving him. But there's this lovely moment where Rey, or Ayanami, whatever you want to call her, this new iteration,
starts paying him little visits.
Yeah,
at the ruins he's hanging out in.
Yes,
she'll come by, try to talk to him,
always leave him some food,
rations.
Right. And then
it takes a while. He starts eating again.
it hits so hard that he hasn't said anything, and then she just shows up and is super nice and just leaves food for him and is like, you know
You're
what?
not doing anything here. Are you protecting this place too?
Right.
And he's just like,
yeah,
I can't protect anything.
yeah,
I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want anyone to come here.
yeah.
I just want to be left alone.
And I don't understand why everyone's being so nice to me.
Why are you all being so nice
Yes.
to me?
And then she's like, I'll be
Because
back.
we like you.
I'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I'll have food. And then
Mhm.
walks away. and then he neglects the food. He neglects it and doesn't want anything to do with it. And then, gosh, it means a lot to me in this moment. He just takes the food and just starts scarfing it down while he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, dude, like it really speaks a lot. And it's like, man, that's really good. But then,
The fucking delivery of that final breakdown is what gets me, dude.
yes, it's for the beginning of this film. It's like I said, it's so familiar and so lovely, but at the same time, it's charged with so much emotion. I mean, you know, because of all the events that have happened so far.
Yeah. It cannot not be.
Right, exactly. So the fact that he's just like sitting here crying, eating these rations, it's like, man, buddy, I wish I could just give you a pound on the back.
It's going to be okay.
You know,
you fucked up real bad,
know
but
what,
hey,
hey,
man, you
got
can do it.
I have faith in you, man. I've seen the end of this film and it gets better. Trust me. So
We'll get there.
Yeah. But anyways, it gets in this brief amount of time, you really start to, at least for me, I don't want to speak for everyone. I really start to feel those same emotions for this new Rey, this Miss Lookalike.
Yeah.
Like I did for the previous one, who is like, she is integrating well and learning and is interested and is like feeling emotions and is like, is that what that feels like?
Right. Learning all sorts of new shit.
Is this what like happiness is? Is this what like belonging feels like? And it's like, wow, that's interesting to see someone mature, like feel those feelings. Like you can understand, like kids may feel that, and you may feel these like betrayal and love and all these different things.
But they won't state it like so matter of fact.
Right. You want to have someone that's like conscious and like can like vocalize their feelings and go like, I believe this is what sadness feels like. And it's like, oh, you've never known what sadness is.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just interesting and it's cool to see in this character in this moment. And needless to say, she doesn't have long for this life outside.
Right. She
of
can't
Nerve
survive.
Because of numerous reasons, but her suit has given her like prompts and stuff like that. And
shutdown sequence initiated.
Yeah. And it hits really hard, harder than I was expecting. Because even though she seems a little bit cold and emotionless, she starts to cry and starts to like have this realization that I
don't have long.
I don't have long, and I don't want to leave. And it's like, oh.
A real Wolfwood in the church moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to go. And then, and I believe that she says like, I wish. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
There's
at one point, whenever Rey visits, she starts like asking him more questions, of course.
Right.
And then he breaks down, finally speaks again.
Yeah.
And at that point, he is convinced to come back to town.
Yeah.
And finally, like, gets a hold of himself.
Right.
Now, this is when he starts, like, helping out around town with Kensuke, Toji, Asuka, and he actually, like, gets a feel for it.
Yeah.
Gets a little more comfortable.
Kaji's son.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Ryoji. How about that shit, huh?
Dude, the second I saw that, I was like, bro, what?
Yeah. Good stuff.
He starts helping out and really making a name for himself again.
His estranged brother.
Gosh, dude, yeah. That's crazy. A lot has happened in 14 years.
Yeah.
there's a son involved here.
Right.
Yeah, and as Rey kind of gets more involved, the elderly ladies that she's working with have told her like, well, if we keep calling you Miss Lookalike, but like
that ain't gonna stick,
but
girl. You got to find yourself a new name.
You got to get yourself a name.
Mm.
And she's like, I can just name myself. And she's like, well,
Like,
none of us know your name.
Right.
You don't know your name. So, yeah, you can pick one.
Think of something.
Right. And
Could
so
be
she
anything.
goes to Shinji and is like, I would like for you to help me pick out a name.
Mm.
And it's like, man, what a...
He's just like, I'll try.
Right. And it's like, gosh, the most heartbreaking moment is whenever he is starting to reconnect with Rey in a new way. And it's not quite like the original Rey,
Right.
but like she is asking for his opinion and is like confiding in him, and they had a couple more discussions, and it's really great to see them kind of blossom in like a cool friendship all over again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden one morning, all her clothes are like folded up. There's a big note that,
Hikari reads it, and it's all the phrases that
Right.
she was taught.
right, but
Well
from
intended.
her, and it's like, and it, gosh, it's all so simple, but it all means a lot. And it's just like, good morning, thank you,
Good
goodbye,
night,
good night. It's like,
goodbye.
yeah, right. It's all those things. And it's like, man, it just hits a lot harder because the night before there's like this red void on her hand or something like that.
Starting to fade away.
Right, or whatever's happening.
Mhm.
And she's sitting there with the baby.
Tsubame.
And
Easily one of my favorite parts of the film.
Right, yeah.
I fucking love that baby.
right,
dude.
it's super sweet. Again, it captures the emotion of what's happening here, and it just hope for the future.
Yeah.
There is a place where you
Something
can
to protect.
you could raise a child here. What a novel concept in this hellscape.
Yeah. Where
And
only pockets of humanity remain.
Right, if even.
Mhm.
But as she's looking at her hand and she's realizing that like this is basically the end, her eyes start to water, and like these like tears start to just pour out of her face, and she's like, "Is this what sadness is?
Am I crying?
Am I the one who's crying?"
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you don't.
You don't even know.
It's like you can't even mentally comprehend what your natural instinct is doing.
Mhm.
Your body, like this primal thing inside of you, is scared and is sad,
Mhm.
but like your mental capacity
You just can't comprehend it.
can't quite comprehend it. But though,
Right.
and it's like, man, that is so weird and cool, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a lot to say about the beginning of this film
Oh, yeah.
because it's super great.
Mhm.
Needless to say, for the she meets up with Shinji back at that this ruin, this
Turned it into a nice fishing spot.
Yes, exactly. He's going back there to fish now, and it's now he's turned this area into something beneficial for him.
Mm-hmm.
Not only can he be alone, but he can also do an activity there as well.
Right.
And
Do something that benefits the people in town.
Exactly. Shinji starts off with saying, like, I really tried to think of a name, but like I really have only ever known you as Ayanami,
Mm-hmm.
and I really can't think of anything else, really. And she's like,
Yeah.
that's okay. I just appreciate that you've considered it, that you thought about me. That means a lot. And it, like I said, I believe this is my second time watching this because I know what happens next.
Yeah.
And it was hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hard to watch because I remember the first time I watched this, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was heartbroken
Uh-huh.
because
yeah.
she steps back and she kind of starts
Goes down the list of things she wanted to do.
right. I wish that I could have just stayed here a little more. I wish
I could have held Tsubame more.
Oh God, dude! It's like, and I wish I could have learned more, and I wish I could have gone to the library more.
Mhm.
And she starts like going down this list of all the things, and Shinji justified was like, "Hey, what's happening?" And like from her feet up, her like black suit is now turning white, like the original version, and it's like engulfing her
Yeah.
as she's like taking these like steps back. And all of a sudden, like her whole suit turns white and it finishes out.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is her last words? Didn't she say like goodbye?
She says, "I wish I could have stayed with the boy I liked forever."
Oh.
Shit's fucking
damn, dude. And then out of nowhere, her she blows up.
Yeah. Dissolves.
I mean, just like in the OG
End of Evangelion.
End of Evangelion.
Whenever
with,
the human instrumentality comes about, everybody starts turning into orange goo.
Yeah, and just starts like
LCL.
And just, it's
popping.
Yeah.
Like water balloons.
And the look and sound on Shinji's face is hard.
Yeah. But it's okay.
It's okay.
He can accept this.
Right.
He's not going to start sulking again. He's not going to retract back into his shell anymore.
Right.
He's able to accept this and move on.
Exactly. Which this is a big turning point.
That's fucking huge for this boy.
This is huge because then he takes that as, I can't stay here. I got to move on.
I got to do something.
I got to go. And Asuka's in the process of trying to... she's getting on to...
Yeah, the Wunder has come to town and is now offloading supplies
Coming
and
to town.
people. And also to pick her up.
Right. And he's like, I gotta go with you. I gotta do my part.
Yep. And she's like, okay, well, before that happens, I gotta gotta follow the rules. And she just fucking pulls out a taser and knocks him out.
Like, this is protocol.
Right.
Zaps the shit out of him. I think you had that planned. You were carrying that around for this moment.
In case you flew off the handle.
Yeah, right. Or in case I decided not to go, you were still gonna bring me anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah. And this marks like the turning point in the film.
Yeah.
Between like that first
the call
act
to action.
Yeah, the first act, second act vibe. Because this definitely feels like the preparation for the fight.
Oh yeah.
Super cool.
Mm-hmm. Get to see the old crew again.
Yeah. It's a really cool sequence, dude.
Oh yeah.
All the
Toji's sister fucking slaps it shit out of him as soon as he wakes up. He's like, why the fuck did you do the one thing I told you not to do?
Yeah, right. Hits him, is like sitting there grabbing his chest and like crying on him. And it's like, why? How could you do this or whatever? And I love Asuka's like, what are you, his wife? like, what are you doing? Right. And because it comes across like that a little bit. What are you, his wife? Jeez. So yeah. And what happens next after all this stuff?
So Asuka is able to deliver mail from the town to all the family members on board. Toji's sister being one of them.
And then, dude, the emotions are so real.
Right.
There's a beautiful picture, and it's Toji's sister's looking at it, and it's him, his wife, their baby, and the camera pans out down the hallway, and all you hear is just her crying.
Yeah.
And it's not like that, like happy crying. It really feels like, I know I have to be here to do this job.
Yep.
But boy, do I wish I was there with my family.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it's like, oh, dude, it just again, there was no dialogue.
Right.
She was handed that, and she looked at it, and it's just this sobbing from the heart, and it's like, man, it's so heavy.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But anyways,
so we get to see Mari again.
Right.
Asuka makes it to their containment area, strapped with explosives, which apparently they've added even more onto now.
Of course. Yeah, you know.
They just don't want to take any chances, which is understandable. This is like pivotal, like make or break moment.
Yeah.
And,
you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
Fool me 3 times? Nah, come on now.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, everyone dies. My personal favorite version of that.
Love that.
But yeah, they They get to mellow out for a bit, just chill out.
Right.
Asuka is aghast at the amount of books that Mari has.
Oh, yeah.
Which apparently is part of her her impossible dream to read every book in existence.
Wow, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Crazy. Is this where she surprises Shinji? Or is that not? That's not
that
yet.
happens a little after.
Okay.
Like as things are ramping up and they're about to make their final move.
Right.
But not before all the prep work is complete.
Right.
Now they are working like in orbit of Earth.
Yeah.
For this final attack.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah. Misato and Ritsuko are just chilling out in the repository for all the seeds.
Right,
like all
which
the
is crazy. I forgot about this. That was like Kaji's like big project was like what is that place? It's like out in like Iceland or whatever. Or like it's like Switzerland or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the big bunker underground that has one seed from every living plant or whatever in the world.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
Some Noah's Ark type bullshit.
Yeah.
Because he whenever like he was still around, wasn't too concerned with humanity being lost. For him, it was mainly like the animals that he wanted to protect.
Right.
Because if human instrumentality ever started up, it would just completely obliterate everything.
Right.
Humanity withstanding, but, you know. Yeah.
It's called, by the way, the thing I was talking about, it's called Svalbard.
What does that translate to?
Oh, I don't know what that. It's called Svalbard Global Seed Vault, and
Cool.
it's in Norway. I was, Switzerland, Norway. Yeah,
the big roots.
The big roots. Doomsday Vault.
That's cool. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah, I think it has. Seed Vault provides long-term storage of duplicates of seeds conserved in gene banks around the world. This provides security of the world's food supply in case of crazy catastrophic events, apocalyptic events, or global catastrophes.
It's nice to know we have some insurance.
Yeah, right. Let me go. Let me see what Svalbard means.
Yeah. I bet you it translates to something like big pot.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
Seed bed, perhaps.
Seed bed. No, I don't want. Heck.
Technical difficulties. You cannot translate a simple word.
Yeah, I don't think.
No dice.
No dice. Not right now.
Oh well.
Or maybe something. But
that's cool though. Definitely something I'll read up on. I wonder if we have anything like that for actual like living organisms.
Oh, like an actual like Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
I don't think so. The earliest recorded sighting of the islands was made by Dutch explorer who named.
Oh, that's something I didn't think about, is that it might just be named after a guy.
Yeah.
Svalbard is probably his last name.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's neat.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know what this means, but apparently, apparently the person that I guess found the area. It's an archipelago is what the land mass I think is, but the earliest recorded sighting is from a Dutch explorer, and he named it Spitsbergen.
Wow.
Which means jagged peaks, apparently.
Oh, that's cool.
And so the archipelago where the Svalbard is has been known as Spitsbergen. The main island as West Spitsbergen.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know what it means, but hey, it's a cool name.
Yeah,
it's a cool thing. But anyways, on the Wunder, they have this, for lack of a better term, Svalbard up there of like all the
right.
of all the
animal
seeds.
Svalbard.
Yeah, right. And so and they're in the process of trying to put it in orbit.
Right.
Is that...
Yeah, they're just like tying up loose ends before they make the final charge.
Right, potentially end the world.
Mm-hmm. So that in case they aren't able to pull it off.
In case of emergency brake glass.
Right.
Right.
Shunt containers.
In case of emergency, eject seed.
Right. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my
That's funny.
Not a phrase.
I didn't mean that. I didn't say the other word. I said eject. You know.
Right. It means the same fucking thing.
But it can mean different things. Okay. I mean, plant seed. Be different if I said the other one with
jettison. May have been a more apt term.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, they get rid of all that.
Okay, jettison payload
safely floating in space, and they strap some very special armaments to the wings of the ship.
Oh yeah, special indeed.
Which we will elaborate on later.
Yeah.
But they're also equipping both Evas with brand spanking new parts.
Oh, super cool.
Mm-hmm. This version of Unit 2, I think, has to be my favorite.
It is really cool.
It's just, like, I don't know.
It is the...
I can't think of many other... of course, I like the original version of Unit 2.
Of course. Well, we all know, for anybody at home, you can go ahead and say it with me. The one thing that Dylan would wish, the one thing that Dylan wants out of an Eva unit is, well, let's all say it, a little more bulk. Mm-hmm. That's all. He's said that numerous times. Yep. We all know this.
Yep.
And
versions
so, of course,
exist.
Yeah, right, exactly. And this is one.
I have my cake.
Yes, I have my cake.
Yes.
And may I say, this is the closest thing in these rebuild films to like a full armor.
Yeah.
Evangelion.
It might as well be.
And that Unit 2 is laden with
missiles,
armaments, and
blades,
armor,
chainsaws,
arms and armor.
A beautiful contraption.
Oh yeah, and it just starts,
Oh man, this fucking launch sequence, dude.
Super cool.
The fucking battleship fight.
Oh,
between the other ships, man. Oh, holy
super cool, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a weird. Like I said in the previous episode, the Wunder feels like a Final Fantasy ship or something. Yeah. It feels like it
looks like something like the silhouette you would see on a Final Fantasy logo.
Yeah,
how they all have those little art pieces.
There's like cool wings, and it feels like it has like the ribs have like these cool like spirally designs, and it just feels a lot of times in Final Fantasy material, like the ships or big creatures like will have a face or like have some sort of like it feels organic in nature, like these like constructions or whatever, and that's what this feels like.
Oh yeah,
and so it feels like sci-fi / like fantasy adjacent.
There is something mythical about it.
Oh yeah, and so and the other ships feel a little more. Like a little less organic, a little more ship-like, but still really cool.
And they're supposedly fully constructed.
Yeah, those
at least most of them. Whereas the Wunder is incomplete.
Right,
it's not even finished, and it's able to do everything that it does.
Oh yeah. So you can
only imagine what it would do if it was completed.
Its cannons have that special laser ability, like we talk about with the Angels.
Yeah.
They can go twing and start exploding shit.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool.
That thing is nuts.
I just call them the blink cannons. I don't know what they're actually called, but it's just like little flash of light and then just explosions everywhere. Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. It's the same thing as the same reason I like a full-on beam laser.
Oh, yeah.
That has delayed explosions.
Yes, yeah.
Like, it fires across the ground like sizzles for a bit, and then it fucking explodes.
Right.
I love that shit.
Super cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Fuyutsuki is apparently at the helm of one of these ships.
Oh, yeah.
And he is straight up having a one-on-one dogfight with this thing.
Right. He's just like chilling.
Yeah.
he's just sitting there like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess we must fight.
Afraid you'll have to indulge Gendo with his games a bit longer.
Right.
And because he's just buying time
right.
for Unit 13 to be reactivated.
Yeah.
Supposedly. is what their plan is. And Asuka and Mari are currently descending after Wunder unloads its very special payload, which are all just full-size battleships with big-ass rocket engines strapped to them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm talking at least 10 of these things they fire at Nerve HQ.
I want to say it's like 6 to 8 of them,
Just about, yeah.
4 per wing, I think.
A hefty chunk.
They all disconnect, and they're just like full blast. I was like, oh, shit.
Guided munitions.
That entire battleship is a
bomb.
As a bomb now.
Mm.
I guess we're...
If it works.
You know what?
as long as it works.
You know what?
Aren't many N2 missiles sitting around anymore.
Not going to question it. Full steam ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they blow open a sizable hole within Nerve HQ, and Unit 13 is now exposed.
Right.
That is Asuka and Mari's cue to descend, both of which are on top of aircraft carriers with shields strapped to the bottom of them.
Right.
Now, in response to this, Gendo launches a seemingly infinite wave.
I have no idea.
Of Eva Infinities is what they're called, I believe.
There are like these white Eva bodies that like have these like skull heads on them.
Super fucking cool.
Cool, scary.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of them, and they just start like
there's this one close-up shot
of
the face, and there are these little red lights like in the pits that are the
and they're just like
holes.
chomping like.
Yeah,
they're like clopping down, like and they're like biting, and it's like, oh shit, dude, it's
creepy as hell.
I don't like it.
It's
creepy.
Yeah. Now tell me what you think of this midair fight.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a dance.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful dance. You got this fully clad Unit 2 flying out of the sky, spooling up this chain gun, just
launching volley after volley of missiles just to punch a hole through this deluge of bodies.
There's a moment where she's like flying down belly first, and then she's like spinning in circles, just fully rotating this cannon.
One with each shot because there's just that fucking many of them.
There's just that many.
No ammunition is wasted.
Not at all. And it's such a cool scene, and it's super cool, and I love it.
Good stuff.
There's like a wave of them that ends up like turning into like this drill head or whatever.
Oh yeah, to try and destroy them.
Yeah,
and
her and Mari end up like
combining their
together.
AT fields to form a fucking shredder.
A freaking Kamehame or whatever.
It's ridiculous.
It's great. It's a great look, and I love it. And they bust through it. Super cool. And I was like, man, how awesome is that?
They have to use rocket boosters to slow their descent so they don't fucking splatter on impact. Even when they make touchdown, it's not even over. There's like these little, what I like to refer to as dwarf gecko Avas.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what they are. These little orbs with like the restrictor pylons on them and 2 arms. And that's it.
Oh,
they're able to pull out knives.
Don't they have those in little 3-hand guys in Metal Gear?
Yeah, the dwarf gecko.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a reference you're making, but I forgot the name of them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I've heard that name, and I was like, wait a minute, the 3-armed ball guys. I was like, yeah. Oh God,
bastards.
Yeah. It's basically Unit 1 arms with this like bar in the middle of them.
Yeah.
It's only 2 arms though. They're just like, wee.
Yeah, surprisingly deadly because there's a shit ton of them.
And they can just explode apparently at a certain point.
Self-destruct.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So Asuka is able to make its way to Unit 13's containment chamber.
Right.
While Mari is holding off the dwarf Avas. And
the Duevas.
Right.
I'm sorry.
The plan is to render Unit 13 just inert, like unable to be used.
Right.
Because they're going to try to use it as like the linchpin to start up human instrumentality.
Right.
Now, all appears to be going well. She's made it to the final stretch. Should be a piece of cake.
I will say this is a prime example of it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Too quiet. Is what it feels like.
This is another nice little reference to Jet Alone. As she's walking up, she's walking just like Jet Alone did.
Really?
In his episode, yeah.
Interesting.
Arms swaying around, just almost like a drone-like walk.
Yeah.
I love it.
Super cool.
And because that's what drove it home to me. I thought it looked familiar, and I was like, I mean, it might be something. But as soon as I saw that fucking walk cycle, I was like, that's totally what that is. It was so cool. So she's able to walk right up to Unit 13.
Right.
Not a hint of danger.
And it's like, oh, something doesn't feel right.
I don't know what this device is that she's using to do whatever it needs to do.
It's like this. It's like it starts off as like this white spike almost. And when she clicks it in on itself,
it turns into like a crucifix.
Exactly. It turns into what like a crucifix stake would be for like
she's about
vampire.
to kill a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
She just pushes down all her might. Here we go. This is it. And then of course,
boom, AT field.
This outlandish AT field,
super strong,
blocks it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little confused in the subtitles here whenever it was talking about it. Was she saying that was her AT field? That was like
Unit 2's AT field.
That was blocking her from doing that?
Yeah.
That's sus.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that about?
It was scared. It
really?
Was scared of Unit 13.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
That's... yikes.
Yeah. It's like, lady... I am a torso with one arm.
Yeah.
I don't want to die or lose anything more than I already have. Please.
I know you're controlling me, but I'm going to go ahead and intervene here and go, hold up.
No, I don't want
it. Please.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, fine.
You say that.
You forced my hand. So she's got an eye patch.
Right.
Something that we noticed in the third film.
Right.
Don't know why she's got it.
Mm-hmm.
But... we're left to assume that it's because of her accident in the second film.
Exactly.
Where she was forcefully turned into an angel through Bardio. And that has been acting as a restrictor for this fucking anti-L pillar that they have shoved into her eye.
That was hard
in order to stop that from happening again. So she's like... okay, I'm just gonna let me use both eyes for this. Maybe I'm seeing too much bullshit.
Right.
So she takes the eye patch off.
Maybe I'm saying a little too much bullshit here, but I don't think you understand.
It starts just popping out of her eye, and she has to yank that shit out. Looks super painful.
It looks visceral because it looks like it goes all the way to the back of her skull.
Yeah.
Just to put things into perspective here, she's like pulling this thing out, and it's like, whoa! And you're like, bruh, how deep does that thing go?
Yeah. Now I can't remember the code for this one.
Something 99 or 999.
39 or 3S. I can't remember which, but she then says angel blood full injection.
Oof.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That's what those little things on Unit 2's last remaining pylon are.
Right.
Just injectors.
Mm-hmm.
In case a scenario should arise that she would need to do this.
Right.
And buddy, this is the highlight of the film for me.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love this sequence. I love the way Unit 2 transforms, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Like, she starts, like, struggling to yank what remains of Unit 2 out of this suit.
Yeah. I thought that was, like, its new body, but no, it's like it's like supplementary armor that Unit 2 is, like, forcibly trying to, like, claw its way out of. It's like, bro, why? What?
It's like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And, man, it is just... It's the coolest, like, visually speaking, to me, it's the coolest fucking part of the film.
Oh, yeah. We get this really cool moment.
As if I didn't love or gush over every time an AV unit goes berserk enough.
Oh, yeah.
This one is definitely one of the greats.
This one's crazy because it's also, like, cool to see inside the cockpit, like, her eyes glowing blue and her other eyes glowing green.
Yeah.
And she's, like, kind of going, like, her hair starts to glow orange. You're like, bro, what is happening?
Like it's on fire.
Yeah, and you're like, holy shit, we're about to go into cosmic territory.
Right. And you see what I'm assuming the final form of Bardiel would have been.
Right.
If it were to break out of whatever restrictors had been placed on it.
Right.
And it looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like it's got, I want to say, a total of 16 eyes.
Yeah.
Because there are 8 on either side of the head.
Crazy.
It sprouts that extra pair of arms. Just like it did in the second film to choke out Unit 1.
As it do.
But now it's being used to pry open Unit 2's AT field.
Just like in the original film.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what could possibly neutralize an AT field?
Yeah. What could rip through an AT field?
Another AT
field.
So it works.
Yeah.
She breaks right through. Now, before the final blow was struck, Unit 13 reactivates and immediately obliterates Bardiel.
Almost like it was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
The AT
a little
field
too
breaks,
convenient.
and Unit 13 comes up and starts choking the shit out of the Unit 2.
This is an example of the bad subs that I was talking about.
Okay.
Because initially, whenever like any kind of exertion or like yell or scream happens, there is this whack-ass subtitle that accompanies it for no reason. It's not the same, mind you. It's just like a spelling out of it that doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
It fucking, like, after Unit 13 fires off a blink beam and obliterates Asuka's arms, she's like screaming in agony.
Right.
And the subtitle just says, "Warrior Scream."
Oh, really?
And she's like clearly getting her shit rocked. And I'm like, what the fuck is...
why that?
What do you mean? It's like, it just takes me out of it completely.
Is that like a mistranslation?
It's
of something?
Not even that. It just didn't need to be there.
Well, you're right.
Because there's nothing there in the like original subs.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, someone's like, I want to put Warrior Scream here.
Right. It's like, why? Why'd you do that?
Doesn't make any sense.
It's the same way I felt about, like, oh God, at a later point in the film, a song is playing with lyrics. And they just say song in Japanese.
Yeah.
And then they just say song continues. And I'm like,
you don't need... What?
I understand that there's a song, but this is what would be playing if I was deaf.
Right.
But these are just like what are supposed to be the regular closed captions or subtitles, and they're just
right.
Just like,
it doesn't make any sense.
It bothers the shit out of me.
Right. And then I love how later they actually have like a song that's in Japanese.
Yeah, for the final credits, they have the subtitles.
Yeah, the actual proper subtitles.
I'm like, why the fuck couldn't you do that for the one that was happening earlier that had no dialogue?
Right, yeah, exactly. Doesn't make any damn sense.
No, it doesn't.
But anyways, so this is where this is where shit starts to get real.
Mm-hmm.
And we start tiptoeing into that real anime territory, if you catch my drift.
All the crazy shit starts as if the current shit isn't crazy enough.
Yeah. There is a crazy sequence where like Gendo is on like the bow of the ship
after he has thoroughly destroyed Unit 2
and
taken its entry plug.
It is it just escalates from here.
Yeah.
Right when you think that we're like in the middle of a fight sequence, there's this crazy moment where Misato and what is the scientist's name? Ritsuko, without even, I mean, they're having a conversation.
Yeah,
Misato
Gendo like just daintily floats down onto the Wunder.
Yeah,
after it's been like disabled and used as the fourth linchpin for this, for this impact, and
he's in the process of like having a brief conversation with Misato.
They both go out to greet him, and it's like, it's been a long time. And then out of nowhere, Ritsuko rolls up with the gat and just fucking...
I just blast the guy.
Just blows a chunk of his head off.
And it's like, holy shit. And of course, he like tries to pick his brains up apparently and shoves it back in his head.
Gray matter back into the cavity that is now his skull.
And then she pops off 3 more shots.
Yeah.
Like, knocks his visor off, and apparently his head's hollow now, and he has sacrificed his soul.
Mm-hmm. Using the key of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
So regular physical damage ain't gonna do anything to him anymore.
Not anymore.
Mm-mm. Oh, man.
He ends up getting the entry plug with Asuka in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up taking the spear or spears.
Yeah.
And then ends up
starting up the impact again.
Right.
Like it was in the 3rd film. Now, apparently, in order to get Unit 13 to that point of ascension,
right,
an angel had to be sacrificed.
Right.
Which is why the 13th was all like stuck inside the Mark 6, and all that jazz happened after eating its core and all that. But since Asuka went ahead and injected all that blood, she effectively turned into an angel, thus enabling Gendo to start this shit up again.
But before all that happened, like her, how would you describe that? Like her original self meets her in a dream, and then
it's not even a dream. That's just what's happening in the plug.
Right. But I mean, like, I guess like dream-like, in like this dream-like state where she's like in the entry plug.
Yeah.
There's like this other version of herself's like, no, come with me, and she's like, I can't. I'm
not gonna happen. Fuck face.
And it's like, I don't think you understand.
Doofus.
And then like slips her out of her body or whatever, and it's like,
and she's just gone. Like physical form, nada.
Exactly.
We're left to assume her soul is just residing inside of the Unit 13.
Right.
So in the same vein as Rey being absorbed into Unit 1 in the second film.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy.
Gendo then fires off a blink beam from himself.
Yes.
To,
which was crazy. I was like, bro, you just
he can just do that now?
What the hell?
What the fuck, dude? Give me that shit.
Yeah, give me that power, please.
Yeah. So he is able to retrieve the quadriplegic Unit 1 from the core of the Wunder.
Crazy.
Yeah. And he's going to bring that with him to hopefully use it to reunite with his wife, since she's in there.
Yes.
Now, Shinji ain't having it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Got a grip now.
Oh, he
knows what he's got to do.
He's been had a grip ever since he's left.
Yeah.
He left the village.
He's on his A game now.
And before the fight sequence took place, he got a nice
little send off.
He got a nice little send off,
Mari.
And it was really great because it was a nice closure.
Yeah. He faces up to what happened in the second film.
Yeah, and he's like,
I didn't help you and I didn't kill you.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to avoid responsibility.
And I apologize. And it's like, man, you really have grown up, dude.
Yeah. Good on you.
Good on you, dude. And she's like, you made some lunch for me, and
shit was pretty good, bro.
Shit was good. And
You're a good cook.
And I actually think that I had a crush on you, and I think I liked you. But I've grown up since then. And that's that. And he's like...
Got it off her chest.
You know what? At a certain point, I think I may have felt feelings for you as well. And I'm sorry that I didn't do anything to help you or not. And it's like, damn, dude, look at you growing up. Good stuff.
Good reconciliation.
Good. And then, of course, Mari there is kind of being flirty and funny and, it's kind of,
being weird.
And being weird as she is. I'm like, hey, her character's pretty consistent. She's just kind of like, she's kind of there being like, hey, guys, what's up? And you're like, all right, Mari.
Like, okay.
Hey, we're kind of like thinking about some other things here, but like, you know what? At least we're having some fun.
I'm glad you're nice.
I'm glad
at the very least.
I'm glad that you are confident in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, So with all that being said, how now this is where I'm starting to get tripped up, because how does Shinji go from the ship to Mari? He gets in Unit 8 with Mari, and then
after some goings on the hull of the Wunder, some of the crew did not sit well with Shinji returning.
No. Again, understandably, justifiably, and he is so level-headed.
Oh, yeah.
So calm. He's like, I hear you, but...
Listen, I don't blame you, but I got to do this.
Got to do it.
Let me pilot Unit 1. Immediately, alarms are going off in some people's heads. They're like,
nope. Last two times.
Did you forget?
Times.
Yeah.
Fool me once.
Right. Yeah.
Fool me twice.
Yeah. So
you will not fool me thrice.
Right.
Right.
I can't remember this chick's name. The pink-haired girl.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But
I call her Lips.
Lips.
She's always like this. She's got those big old lips. Like, I don't know how to pilot this ship.
Right.
Like, what? Who are you?
Apparently, she lost her entire family.
Ooh.
After Shinji's
this is the
near third impact happened.
I just jokingly made this side character right now. Made it seem like that she had no real point in any of this, but in the beginning of this film, she kind of like, for the first time, mentioned some of this about how like I lost my whole family, and I am not super happy about that.
Yeah,
about him. So this is the first time we're kind of getting a little bit of backstory on her, and this is where it all pays off. And I was like, oh, you little kind of nameless side character. Well, I'm saying that because I don't actually know her name. Yeah. But she's like, no. She has a gun and she's pointing at him and is like, my entire family was killed, and so help me God, you are not going to get inside an Ava. And I was like, whoa.
Never again.
Uh-oh.
This shit's all you and your dad's fault. I'm putting a stop to it right now. And then, poor girl. Toji's sister comes out with another gat.
Yeah, they both got guns.
And it's like, listen, I'm just going to hurt you so you don't pilot again. It'll be fine. And she's like holy shit.
Oh, God. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because, again, it feels so real. Like, we are literally talking about Gendo just escaped with all the stuff he would need to literally end the world.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about what I can do best to help stop that, and
just to try,
and I don't blame you for being in this moment. But of all the things that we need right now, you two pointing guns at us is not what we need right now.
You're too scared of what happened before.
To not see what's happening right there to your left.
What other options do you have?
Look out there. Look at that. You see that? That's the end of the world happening right now. And if we don't help stop it,
everybody's gonna die.
That's a floating head. That's a whole ass head.
Yeah.
I want you to look into the red eyes of that floating head and tell me that you're not terrified.
Right. So Misato has come to terms with Shinji piloting this thing again.
Right.
He's like, okay,
you know what?
All right, son. I love you. Go do what you got to do.
Right.
But before, now the little girl, Toji's sister, is actually going to commit to this. She's actually going to shoot Shinji.
She's ready.
And she fires off, and Misato gets in front of him, takes a bullet to the gut.
Yeah.
And is like, nah. I'm taking full responsibility for anything this little bastard gets up to, okay?
You know what?
I still have custody of this little shit.
You're right. I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
You're going to blame someone, you blame me, you understand?
Yeah. You're a commanding officer.
Yeah, she lays it down, too. It's like, if he hadn't done what he did 14 years ago, we all would have been dead by now.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Right? Just believe in this little bastard like I do, okay?
It's like,
everything's going to be fine.
Damn it, Misato. You know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah. And everybody's just like, okay.
All right.
Fine.
Sorry, we got
what
emotional. What
else can I do?
Got a little emotional, got a little heated,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. So she gives him a little pep talk before sending him off. Like, there's only two things a son can do for his father, and that's either pat him on the shoulder or fucking kill him. So, after that, he's like, okay, I'm off. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to save us. And like, good luck. I believe you.
Right.
And while this has been happening, Mari has been assaulting each individual ship with Unit 8.
Super cool.
Armless, mind you.
Oh, yeah.
She straight up drop kicks the first dude on the Wunder.
Hell yeah.
Bites his arm off, makes it her own.
Right.
Just like shoves that shit on there.
Hell
It's
yeah.
like, new arm.
All right.
You're mine now.
Yeah.
And then she just fucking cannibalizes the thing.
Yeah. Is this the one where she... Am I thinking later whenever Shinji leaves where she manifests an arm? Am I thinking? I think
No, that's what I'm talking about. She didn't.
Okay.
She didn't manifest it. She stole it from.
There
that
was a
first
point in time.
dude.
There's a point in time where I thought that she didn't have an arm, and then she just like willed an arm into existence from having like. I think that she had consumed the other.
Oh yeah. Her left arm. I'm
Yeah,
thinking of her right arm. The first go around.
Right.
But yes, after
There's
she
a-
starts taking them
God.
down one by one, she's able to manifest a new arm
Yes,
and turn her AT field into a fucking monster
bruh.
that then just eats
May I say,
the second to last one.
there is nothing.
We don't even see what happens to the last dude.
There is nothing that I think is more epic in that moment than whenever the camera pans back and she just flings her nub of like a left shoulder and then just wills an arm into existence just to ball a fist and then and absolutely smash this dude in the face. I'm oh my God, that is so cool. And just like, I'm just going to go ahead and will an arm and then just beat you to death with it. It's like, hell yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
It's metal as hell. But anyways, so Shinji's in the cockpit with her for a second.
Mm-hmm. It having attained the abilities of these last Ava units,
Right.
is now able to traverse this anti-universe that Gendo is now just frolicking around him.
And now here we go. This is where we start to tiptoe into some really big concepts here, people.
Mm-hmm.
The anti-universe.
Right.
There are like levels of fabrics of reality you can go down,
Right.
and this little like handheld device shows you where you
Is
can't
able
go.
to track this shit. Because Ritsuko fucking just put that shit together on the fly because she's a goddamn genius.
And you can see like the point of no return where you
Right.
can't actually like I guess operate anymore.
Humans are not meant to be
Yeah.
in this area. Now, it's described as the realm that the atoms, the supposed like beings that came before humanity,
Right.
like where they left the spears and everything, how they were able to create shit or do something or the other. It's just an area that humans were never meant to be.
Of course.
Within
It feels
this
like
realm,
some sort of like heaven or hell or afterlife kind of
dual
vibe.
one.
Vibe.
Let's rock. So Mari is able to come on, just roll with it.
I know. I'm sorry. It caught me off guard, and it really hit me.
Right.
It tickled me.
So while Shinji's in the cockpit, Mari is going like, "It's not gonna be easy to catch this motherfucker. He's using quantum teleportation." And like he's like, "Oh, it's fine. I'll take it from here." And he just gets up and walks towards like the end of the cockpit, and he calls for Rei, and a portal opens up.
Right.
Straight to Unit 1's cockpit.
Like he's done this before.
Right. Where Rei's spirit has just been
residing
at the helm, just holding it down for him.
Oh, and dude, and she says like, hey, like I took control of the pilot so that way you didn't have to pilot anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
It's like, it's okay.
Super cool.
Thank you so much.
And he's like, thank you for your service. But
I got it from here.
I got it from here.
Yeah.
And it's like, gosh, dude.
Beautiful.
Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes over Unit 1 again, and it's like... Ooh,
manifesting limbs one by one. As soon as he gets an arm ready, he fucking chokeholds him.
Bruh.
You see, like, the effects of it on Gendo, like he's in the plug suit.
Right. It's super cool.
Just like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
And it's so good. Shinji is able to wrest control of Unit 1 from Gendo and takes one of the spears with him, turns it into Cassius, the Spear of Hope.
Love it. Super cool.
And he's gonna get that Longinus and fucking do the reset.
Right. But may I say also, like before he gets into all the stuff that Dylan's talking about, he has this really, I would say, this really heart-to-heart moment with Mari for the first time. Like Mari doesn't feel like crazy or like or kind of goofy or whatever. She's like, wait for me.
Yeah,
like
I'll come for you.
I'll
Wherever
come for
you are. Don't worry.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna come for you, and make it out of there. And also while you're at it, if you can find Asuka, if you can find her soul, save her. Save her, and we can get out of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, and he's like, I'll try my best.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
I got it covered.
And man, it feels so good. The confidence in that moment. Super cool.
So out of character.
Right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, it's so out of character for the boy that we've seen in the previous films. For the man that
he's made
this
a change
kid,
for the better.
For this boy that's now turned into a man, and is learning from his mistakes. You're like, you know what? I can see what you're doing here.
Yeah,
stepping it up.
Good stuff. Keep it up.
Keep it up, boy.
Now, as they are falling through the anti-universe, Gendo is explaining how he's going to achieve his goals.
Yeah.
And she's like, give me that fucking stick. And it was like, nah, not yet, son.
And I'm telling you, and all while this is happening, I mean, I feel like we're in this fever dream. I know I love to use that term.
Right.
Especially like in anime type stuff where it's like, I just feel like it does a really good job of making you feel like we are in this other world because we keep like teleporting around and like the setting keeps changing to like different points in the past.
Right.
You know,
he is talking about the Golgotha object.
Yes.
Which is what he's going to use to bring his dream to fruition and finally reunite with his wife.
And it's like a big, like orthodox cross.
It is the one thing that can grant a man's wish.
That's crazy.
That he may slay the gods and bind them. Now, as soon as they enter this thing, it's like Shinji wakes up in the hospital bed, like at the old nerve facility, and then he's in the Eva cage.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the hell is happening? And Gendo explains that human senses are of no use in this dimension. So the LCL in the cockpit is now making a digital like environment that you can comprehend so that you can still function properly. Right. And but of course goes like, hand over Unit 1 so that I can finally make my dream come true and you can see your mother again. And he's like, nah. And it's like, oh, you're going to put up a fight, huh? And
it really feels like,
I love this fucking sequence, dude.
Yes.
It's
what is
so
it?
good.
What is it called whenever you can control your dreams?
Lucid dream.
Well, it feels like a lucid dream. But anyways, what goes next after that?
You see the Eva cage start to activate, and Unit 1 gets ready for launch.
Yeah.
Highway opens up. Elevator shoots up.
Yes.
Now, the reason I love this entrance so much is because you hear like all the startup sounds. You hear Unit 1 like take a breath, like exhale, like a low growl.
Yeah.
And that first step, dude. Oh my God.
Cool.
It's so good.
The first step, just like in the original, whenever he hits his foot down and it shatters the glass on like I think it's like a bus stop or a phone booth, whatever. And it's like, oh, so cool.
Mm-hmm. And then we cut to a sunset vista of the city. Unit 13 is just like chilling out on a skyscraper.
Yeah. Real smug looking.
And Gendo's just like, fine, we'll take the long way.
Yeah.
And then both men are at their starting position.
Yeah.
Spears at the ready. And then it hit.
Come on, what is the beginning of it? Men thought that they could control the beast. The starting intro to Guilty Gear.
Oh God!
I forgot what it is.
Mankind knew that they could not change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts.
Heaven or hell.
Duel 1. Let's fucking rock.
That's
bro.
what it feels like. It feels like the perfect sequence where like the cameras are kind of like panning a little bit, and one of them's like all slumped over like on a skyscraper with the spear, and it's like, hey, let's do this.
Right. It's straight up starts out like a fighting game.
Round 1, fight. And it's like
now, the track that plays during this altercation.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Super cool.
Voices in My Head.
Yeah.
I fucking love this.
What a cool track title.
It starts off with like this really heavy percussion with a bell.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
And you see Eva Unit 1, like the mouth opens.
Oh, yeah.
The classic shit,
it's
bro.
super good.
But with purpose.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't running wild anymore.
Yeah.
Like Shinji has full control.
He's not falling down on his face anymore like in the first film.
Nah.
He's got this.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool. And another thing, too, is for any of those out there who have watched The Big O, at the very end, there's like this, I don't want to spoil too much. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to talk about it anyways.
Yeah.
There's this really awesome sequence where like almost the fourth wall's broken in The Big O.
Oh,
and
God,
it's hard to wrap your head around a little bit. But it really plays into the show as a whole. As like what is happening and like what that means in the show.
Like, oh, this is all part of some fucking time loop.
Right. This feels a lot like that because there's a moment where like they hit the edge of a wall, and it's like the backdrop of like the skybox.
It's like a tokusatsu set.
Yeah,
something out of Godzilla or Ultraman.
Exactly, and it's like, oh, what's happening here? And then it's like, then they're like behind behind the wall where like there's like,
it's like a movie set.
Yeah, there's boom arms and there's like lights. And
I remember whenever clips of these scenes were like coming out and people were like, what the fuck is this? Why does it look so bad? And then whenever it was finally revealed what it was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone else, but I love old style like Sentai and Tokusatsu shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking like Godzilla, Ultraman.
Of course, yeah.
Fucking Kamen Rider, fucking Power Rangers, Super Sentai.
Right.
Stuff like that. And you see, like, because they look like suit actors.
It looks like, I think it's actually,
it's all mocap.
If I'm not mistaken, it was 100% mocap.
And
which is super cool.
Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And
the movements feel a little more real than like the already kind of real animation does of the Eva suits.
Right. And now as they're fighting, like Shinji's like dodging the spear left and right, diverting it, trying to stab Gendo. And he at one point he is thrown like clear across the set.
Yeah.
And he hits like the backdrop.
Yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah. After that,
like
he gets back up, Unit 1's mouth opens up again.
Yeah.
Like this is the most that shit has happened, like, because it goes through the progression. Of course, you see like the first time the mouth opens up and you see the restraints inside. You don't see the teeth.
Yeah.
But the second time he does it,
full teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary.
Like slowly getting worse.
Yeah.
And the next part, man, is my favorite because they end up in Shinji and Misato's apartment.
Yeah.
At the table full of like beer and snacks.
Yes. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's just going through the different points.
And I mean, we're talking like hard cuts. We're talking about like it hard cuts to a new area and like the battle.
Every clash of the spear changes the environment.
Yeah, and it's like, and with each clash like that, it is the reset back to round one of a fight, but new setting. Like you have player one left side, player two right side, and it feels like the reset happens. And you're like, whoa, what? And then of course you're like, huh, and they're right back at it again, hitting it around.
The animation in that apartment sequence, I have to say, is my favorite.
It's really cool.
Because they get the proportions looking so good on the units. Everything is like flying all over the place.
Super cool.
The hits are heavy.
Yeah.
And man, as soon as Shinji gets like kicked through the wall into another movie set, like it was just part of the.
It's like a background scene. Yeah.
The moment like whenever he like recoils and like gets up and you see like Unit 1's eye, I love that shot.
It is really cool.
Mouth opens up again. He's fucking right back at it.
Yeah.
And then Shinji starts to realize like, man, the movements are practically synchronized. I can't get up. I can't get past it.
Right.
And Gendo's like, yeah, that's because like goes into a full-on explanation. And he explains that the Unit 13 is that of despair and Unit 1 is that of hope. The two are completely intertwined
and
in sync with each other. So he's like, there's not much you're going to be able to do against me, bro.
I'm pretty sure he's like, you can't just might your way through this one.
Yeah. Violence and conflict are not the criteria upon which our fight can be solved.
And then he just like, he shoves the spear into the ground, and they just kind of sit there for a second.
You know what? You're right. Because after he's like thrown around a bit more, it like catches up. Like the latest point in his memory is the town where everybody is, and he's like, this ain't the way to do it.
Yeah.
So he puts the spear down and he's like,
let's talk.
Let's talk,
Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I know we are already well over our time, but I am just getting started.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this for a little bit more. So, this scene is so heavy.
It's straight up like the instrumentality sequence from the end of the show and the end of Evangelion.
You're right. It is the culmination of so much emotions, so much heartache.
Yeah.
And Gendo, I mean, just opens up to his son and just really starts to talk
Gives
to him.
him the whole rundown.
Gives him the whole rundown.
Early life onward.
And man, Gendo is a really unlikable character for this entire show.
Yeah.
And for the first time, you get to peer behind the curtain a little bit and see what makes the villain.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's why you're such a shit.
Yeah.
Because you were just like Shinji was early on.
You're right. And he never grew out of it.
Nope.
Never got better.
He got better once he met Yui.
Yeah.
But couldn't adapt without her.
Right,
he couldn't move on.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. It's like after she was gone, he couldn't move past that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like there is this beautiful moment where he is. I'm not saying it justifies any of his actions or how shitty he treated his son.
Right.
But it's like you get to see this boy go from rejection and, of course, not being able to fit in or communicate with people very well, to falling in love with this woman that really breaks him out of his shell and really makes him see life for what it is.
Yeah. Actually worthwhile.
Yeah. And then whenever she ends up sacrificing herself to, make Unit 1 a reality.
Right.
He couldn't bear.
Can't do it.
And has tried his best to,
He just goes full send, like, into human instrumentality.
And then he
abandons his son.
There's a moment where he just keeps, like, yelling out for Yui. He just keeps yelling out. And no matter what flash of image you see, it's always just Ray.
Oops, all Ray.
Oops, all Ray. And, dude, he is just... It's like he's trying so hard to find her.
Ends up, like, head in his hands. It's like, am I forbidden to meet her because I'm so weak?
Yeah.
And, of course, Shinji chimes in, like, I think you can't meet her because you can't accept your weakness, bro.
Yeah.
Can't come to terms with your own fragility.
Yeah. And then, of course, like, he also gets a chance to look at Shinji.
Mm-hmm.
And he really sees Shinji for who he is.
Yeah.
And the fact that the love of his wife, the love that they bore for each other, made Shinji.
Mm-hmm.
And that Yui was there all along through Shinji.
Mm-hmm.
But you never wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
You were so caught up in what you wanted and what your and you're crazy.
Yeah, he describes it as seeing Shinji, the child.
Yeah.
Like that he made.
Yeah.
As a punishment upon himself.
Right.
And he says that turning away from him and neglecting him would be a form of redemption in that respect.
Right.
Which is, of course, fucking ass backwards.
Yeah, of course, it's not there.
So he comes to terms with that and finally apologizes and accepts his son. Which is super nice.
It's so nice. And then this, I may be looking too much into this.
Mm-hmm.
This may be me digging a little deep here.
Yeah.
But this is what this sequence means for me. Gendo goes to this whole spiel. and the whole time Shinji is standing up, not sitting down, or is sitting down across the way, or whatever, but is looking at his father, and is not talking to him at the same level, like hearing his dad's sympathy, but almost talking down to him in a way.
Yeah, almost like a therapist.
Right. It's like talking more methodically and like, of course, logically and thinking through it.
Right.
But also may I remind the audience, we are in the bus, like the train system that Shinji was always in like his dreams and stuff like that.
Right.
Where he was. And he was the kind of victim in this scenario where other people would come in and like try to talk to and cooperate with him in some way.
But wasn't having it.
Well, yeah, but this is like his space.
Yeah.
Every time we've seen him, he is here either by himself trying to
cut himself off.
Yeah, with the earphones, or it's somebody else trying to encourage him in his little like train car sadness moment.
Right.
For the first time, his dad's there, and his dad is the
roles
one that's
are
sad.
reversed.
The roles are reversed, but we're still in Shinji's playground. We're still in his area. This is his train. This is in his mind. This is this is his area. He now is taking control of this area. Yeah. And the second that his dad apologizes for what he's done to him,
he's able to move on.
He's able to move on. But not only that, but Gendo is taken off of the train and the doors close and Shinji doesn't say anything else. Yep. And at that point, it's like he apologized. Shinji got all he needed to go and was like, you know what? You can leave now.
Yep.
Doors closed. Don't need you anymore. Never saw him again.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. And he's on his train and he's going to keep on moving.
Yep. Who's next?
Exactly.
Next patient, please.
Yeah, right. But I love that. It's like it symbolized for me in that moment that like the dad got off his chest what he needed to get off. And Shinji was like, all right, you can leave now.
I forgive you.
And man, that's so heavy.
It's so nice.
So nice.
I love it.
It is really for the sadness and turmoil and all the shit that goes on in these sequence of films. This is like, man, Shinji's really getting he's really getting some redemption here. Yeah. And it feels good.
Now, because Kaoru died in Unit 13,
right?
His spirit is able to manifest and help Shinji along, or be helped by Shinji,
right,
to be put to rest. Now, he at first he's like, "All right, bravo, dude.
Yeah.
Now, what do you want to do?" It's like, no. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if no. It's Kaoru shows up and is like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then he goes and saves Asuka.
Right.
And we get some heavy elaboration on her upbringing.
Heavy.
Holy shit. She's evidently the same type of like clone series that Rey is, or at least done the same way.
Right. It also feels too like, again, because of the fact that we are in this like dreamscape anti-universe thing, is that Shinji now has the ability in this space to like experience the person,
right?
Like being able to experience his dad in his younger years, and even though his dad's like talking him through all that, it's like still like seeing all these memories and really experiencing them.
That's the big takeaway from human instrumentality, is that you're able to combine the whole of humanity into one mind.
Crazy.
So everybody would be able to experience anyone else's thoughts or memories.
Yeah. Well, he does that for
crazy.
Asuka as well. He really gets to see like her upbringing, and
not very happy.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah. A lot of forced training sessions.
Yikes.
For the upcoming Unit 2. And of course she's great at it.
Of course.
But
doesn't have any family.
Right. Doesn't know where dad is. Mom's not around.
Yep. Always alone.
Right. Used to it.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be.
Of course.
We find out. But as that goes on, I'm assuming this is just a visual representation of how she sees him, but Kensuke shows up in that fucking doll costume of the hand puppet she's always using.
Right.
And,
because if I can, again, probably put words to, I guess, if I can, hypothesize what's going on here, is that doll has always been there for her.
Right.
As like, I don't need anybody else, but like, you're always here with me. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is like that doll that she's always had, that comfort, that security blanket in a way.
Right.
The head comes off and it's now Kensuke, which is kind of like her significant other in some way or whatever. This person she's confiding in now, even though she may not admit it.
Right.
She views him as that doll in some ways. Like, even though I'm alone, even though I can kind of make it on my own, you're always here with me, and I appreciate you being here. Because again, and she's a child though, like a lot younger than she is in that moment in time. He is his actual age in the movie, but she is like a child and crying because she's alone and doesn't have any family, and it's snowing outside, and it's crazy.
Beautiful scenery.
Super cool. But anyways, to kind of wrap this up, because we've gone for far too long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
But what a great film, and what a great conclusion to a decades long series of films, movies, TV shows, all kinds of stuff. It all ends. Asuka's on the beach. In that whole sequence, just like in the end of Evangelion. And
at first, I'm like,
no, please, don't hit her.
Yeah.
And so it also ends up swapping over to, I think, like an actual beach scene, and also to kind of wrap this up, Gendo ends up stabbing through Unit 1 and 13, killing himself and sacrificing.
Misato and Ritsuko come up with the bright idea to create a new spear.
Right.
So that there is now an alternative to human instrumentality for Shinji to use. She straight up plows Wunder, like straight into the eye.
It's crazy.
Of the Ayanami head.
Yeah.
And is able to deliver that spear to him. Now, Shinji's about to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
For the greater good.
Of course.
Do the reset, make everything good again.
Right.
Now, before he can accomplish this, a hand pushes him away, keeps the spear from like piercing him.
Yeah.
And it's his mom.
How nice.
Because she's in Unit 1.
Of course.
Now, after that...
may I say, Yui's like suit with like the wing
the
shoulders,
entry suit.
Dude, super cool.
Yeah.
I had kind of scary, but also kind of cool at the same time.
She's able to save him, and then the two units split apart. Gendo behind Yui, taking hold in a loving embrace.
Yeah.
And as the spear is as they're about to sacrifice themselves, both units fucking roar.
Oh yeah.
And then pierce themselves with that spear. Now, they bring to fruition Shinji's wish to reset a world and just make it a blank slate, but without Eva units.
Yeah.
No Evangelions whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, after this, you see every iteration of an Eva unit get pierced by the spear, like full-on erasure, like no more.
Yep.
We don't need you anymore. And the head then explodes into these little clumps that slowly form into people.
Yeah,
to repopulate the earth with. Like, you see all the animals that were gone.
Right.
Everybody's back.
Yeah.
And it's all peachy keen from here.
Right.
Shinji ends up on a beach. We see the slow, picking apart of the animation process, of that scene. On the beach.
Yeah.
You see the still frames, the sketches. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice little callback. And then Mari and Unit 8 end up coming out of the ocean.
Don't you mean 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
Right. 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11. Excuse me. She's able to find him and bring him back.
Right.
Super nice.
Really great scene.
Yeah. And then he wakes up at a train station.
Yep.
Just complete silence other than the little jingle and announcement that a train's about to arrive.
Right.
But he's still wearing a DSS choker. Yeah.
Little weird.
A little weird. But you see like Asuka, Rei, and Kaoru all at that train station, like at the opposite end.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. As the train arrives, Mari sneaks up behind Shinji and is like, guess who?
Yeah,
like
right.
She did earlier.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice little moment.
It's really touching.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like such a great end.
Yeah.
To something that was so tragic and so scary.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy this film.
Yeah.
I remember we had waited so long for this movie to come out.
God.
Because it was originally slated at some point during 2020, but then the pandemic had pushed it back almost a year, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say we had waited for this film for over a year or so.
It was rough.
And I was really nervous because I didn't want to have super high expectations. I didn't want to, get disappointed if it was not good or, because it had also been even longer since the third film had released. So it had been years.
Yeah.
And I remember we sat down and watched it. And as it ended, I was like, this is an ending deserving of this franchise.
Shit felt fucking monumental.
I was like, if this is going to be the end of it all, hats off.
I remember
great.
Leading up to it, I just wanted it to be a happy ending.
Same. I remember you said that. You were like, I just
shit.
want it to be a happy ending for everyone. And I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen. And then lo and behold, here we are. And I was like, wow, Dylan, you got your wish.
Yeah. Thank God.
There you go. Well, anyways, for anybody who is still listening all the way through to this part of the podcast.
This is a fucking long one. This might be our longest one yet.
Yeah, I think it is. Thank you so much for sticking with us. This was a big franchise that I am really happy that we got to tackle. I have been wanting to do this for a while, and I didn't know it was going to happen at this season, this point in time, but you started it, and I was like, hey, you ready to go? And you were like,
every time.
That's okay. I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we have made it all the way through to this one. I really enjoyed these movies a lot, and watching them again is really nice. But anyways, for anybody who is still listening up until this point, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for listening to our episodes. Thank you for indulging us on our we get to splurge a little bit on our favorite movies and animes and stuff like that.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. It means a lot.
Does my heart good.
But for anybody out there who is looking to get in touch with us, we have a link tree /Ian Wolf where you can see all of our links and stuff like that. It's kind of the best way to reach out to us and give us any suggestions or talk to us and all that kind of stuff. Or if you just simply find the Golgotha object, you'll make your dream come true, and you can have the podcast right there in front of you.
But not without a sacrifice.
Not without a sacrifice. Or if you take your dad's old cassette player, I'm pretty sure the podcast is on that too. But anyways, until next time, thank you so much for listening.
See ya.
Bye-bye.